First off, we're gonna get this video straight up with about the Asmongold and Baby No Money situation. I'm gonna say his name right because fairly enough, you decide to respect people, you wanna at least say their name right. That's the first step to do whenever you start showing that you think that they're a respectable person. Sometimes we don't always agree with people's opinions, but when you don't agree with their opinions, we don't go off about these people by turning their backs on them immediately and throwing shame all over them. Asmongold has been known to be a right-wing extremist streamer who has been very leaned onto the political side of things, which supports Donald Trump's really terrible, awful, garbage, and disgusting policies. If nobody's said that to you yet, then there's something wrong with your media. So, to get this out of the way, we're going to talk about Decoy Voice's video that he's released very recently. It was released yesterday, but merely only 13 to 14 hours away from when I was recording this originally. I wanted to make this video to call out some people that have been looking really stupid online, and nobody's going to point it out for you if nobody else is going to do it. Nobody has the balls to do it, but a few people that I know, but they just don't want to address them by their name, so we're going to address these people by their name. If you harass any people in this video, it is all on your own accord. We're not dumb. People that tell people that let's not harass and don't put these disclaimers in front of videos is obviously really stupid. There's still gonna be people, you wanna at least say, yeah, duh, we didn't want people sending their fans over to other people's channels to harass them, but we're not telling them anything. We're not telling them to do that. Now, adding disclaimers, of course, is something you do for precaution, but in this situation, you're basically saying that let's just allow this other form of harassment, by the way, which are the Republican Party's voters, and not allow any sort of people to come in and fact check them every time. Seemingly fact checking them every time is now a form of harassment. Let's go on with the video. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy content like this. Like the video to put this video anywhere else, and we're gonna get on with it.
Turning your back on your friend to appease the woke mob not only exposes your cowardice, but proves that your friendships only exist when it benefits your career. As the Canadian rapper Baby No, or Baby No Money, who previously performed at the Streamer Awards fawning over Asmongold.
My favorite streamer without a duty.
He did this back then without knowing about Asmongold's history. Second, dude calling him woke and very cowardly is really stupid. I know Baby No Money currently has not much knowledge about the internet from way back then. Baby No Money is not the person who usually do his research. That's kind of his weakness. He's awfully approachable, but his weakness is his research ability. His capability for research isn't as high, but if he did his research, he would have picked out that Asmongold was slowly turning into the dark side, which is what he's doing right now. Asmongold, for you. And for Decoy Voice, I checked some of your videos recently, and none of your videos have anything to do with most factual evidence. It's all mainly main witness. It is all about rumors. You're throwing in a bunch of nothing burgers in your videos, but here we are. We have to make this video. Second, Baby No Money idolized Asmongold in the past because he liked Asmongold's streaming content. He liked Asmongold's gaming content. Because besides being a gamer, he's also an political extremist, and he calls himself a sort of form of activist, which is not true. He's not an activist. All he's doing is rounding up people's negative emotions and using that to send people to harass other innocent people. We have smaller content creators with smaller content communities who are getting right now clashed by the extreme public red right-wing community right now for saying one singular opinion, but here we are. So to get that out of the way, no, Baby No Money isn't cowardly. He actually did the right thing by censoring Asmongold's face. And I defend that to this day, and I'll defend it to my death.
Question is Asmongold, baby.
And yes, that is Asmongold painted on his chest. Released a music video yesterday called Mary Poppins. It opens with a message saying, when this was recorded, he was unaware of a certain individual's ethical beliefs. So he censored those whose values he does not support, which traps him as he's going to be asked to answer for the ethics and beliefs of everybody in the video that's not censored. And it's a long
One thing to say about this is that's obviously the way that Decoy voice has worded it in his videos, awfully malicious and really hurtful thing to do. First point I want to get, People No Money has no business to do with you. He can do whatever he wants with the music video. He doesn't do shit with you. You have no skills, as same as your content is the same value as the amount of skills you have for music. You don't have. I'm gonna get that out of the way. Second, as he has no business with you, he can alter the video as the way he wants. Now, people who are going to try to police this on X or Twitter are going to lose their absolute brains after this. And again, I think they've already done that since it's been 14 to 15, 13 hours since this video released from Decoy Voice, which has absolutely no family, just like Asmongold. So right now, if you begin to throw those shame cards onto him, as Baby Money has no business to do with you. Same for your ethics. Number 3, your ethics is absolutely lowly and scummy. Now, you both agreed to whatever Donald Trump says, and I did see that both of your content absolutely goes with, he says this, and so we should believe it. So before you start throwing out the Democrat card out, I'm on Bernie Sanders' side. I'm in total independent. If he did something screwed up, then I wouldn't support him, but it takes a lot for me to stop supporting certain people when they're filled with good, which is not what you're both filled with. So let's get on with the video. And since I got that out of the way, I hope you go back and tell it to your grandmothers, and they might be proud, but I don't think they're here anymore for them to tell you exactly what the world's actually like. And since most of you guys don't even touch grass, and most of you remotely take everything you say people say on the internet with like the heaviest grain of salt ever, so that's what we're working with. So we're gonna continue with the video.
Who were almost guaranteed to get caught up in their own controversy, but only the king in the middle was censored out, which was very obviously Asmongold, formerly from OTK, or One True King, as Bino no longer wants to be seen dancing around with him. But Asmongold harbors no hard feelings.
Like, this is why I've moved a lot away from like collabing and doing anything with anybody else, is because I know that obviously a lot of people don't want to be involved with the things that I do. I don't view this as like a bad thing, right? Like, it's just the way it is. I don't ever blame people for not wanting to be involved with it or not wanting to be involved with me because of it.
And later laughs it off.
That's not what he said in one of his streams. Since Decoy Voice doesn't want to show the other side on stream, Zach already has said multiple times that he actually absolutely cares when people stop collaborating, when his fans start to go over to other people's channels to harass the hell out of the other collaborators that decided to retract from Asmongold's current streaming career. So before anybody starts trying to make him look like he was a reasonable person here, I want you to look at every other single form of way that he basically did exactly nothing. So he basically didn't show any of that. He showed no remorse. Let me just open this real quick. I'm just gonna put it in theater mode for all of you to see. Basically, he has no remorse for what he says. Actually, he does absolutely care about people whenever they say something about him. Whenever they are in a project with Asmongold, people would immediately retract because of the ethical values that Asmongold has. The absolute ethical values for Asmongold is absolutely low. So that's exactly why they aren't collaborating with him. Third, you can absolutely engage with politics without getting yourself in that situation. Thing is that most content creators that we know on the internet, just like right now, that's not me, by the way, in that crowd. Most content creators are absolutely not informed about the atmosphere, because if Baby Mo Money made a reaction video reacting to bitch lasagna from PewDiePie and had not at all recognized it, just so you know, Crispy Concords and Baby Money made a reaction, they absolutely had no idea what PewDiePie was. They absolutely had no idea about the Bitch Lasagna song nor any other songs that YouTubers made way long ago. So that says that they're not necessarily up to date about the research, and it's not like they all had the responsibility to do that much research and see, wait, what is this all about? Oh, it's so weird. Why did PewDiePie do this? That's his exact reaction. Baby No Money did react like that to PewDiePie's one of his music videos. But that was the peak of YouTube back then. Asmongold, same thing. He absolutely has no recollection nor intelligence to be able to perceive the content. He's literally congesting in his body. He literally digests something, he looks at it and goes, yeah, that's complete truth. He did that. And by the way, he has said multiple times that, wait, I don't believe everything on the internet though. He does believe everything he sees on the internet. He just acts like he doesn't know. He relies on his chat to give information, which again the chat reflects the streamer. So since the chat, most of it, his chat basically are filled with a bunch of toxic right-brain political extremists, we're here now going, yeah, basically that should reflect how Asmongold is now, because if you're, going to allow a community and welcome them into your content like that, and you're only this community, a specific one, that one I told you about, which is filled with a bunch of psychotic people, he invites those. So whatever they say will become what he thinks is information. He's going to rely on chat, and that's what he's going to do.
And he just appreciates getting more teeth in post-production, which is a great attitude for Asmongold to have, as I understand what it is to be seen as controversial or polarizing, and one of my hobbies is helping up-and-coming creators understand YouTube, but I take no offense and actually suggest that they don't publicly disclose our partnership, as someone covering sports, doing tech, or vlogging about fashion shouldn't even acknowledge politics, because like any conflict,
That's absolutely wrong. You are free to actually address those. It's just that right now in the world field right now, they're not exactly as friendly to that right now. Politics actually was immediately brung out by companies in the previous, back in the years, back then when they did address it, but they weren't addressing it the way they did. They took like sponsorships or campaign money to be able to have a, say a politician or government sponsor some company way back then. They actually had more of those, and we also had Donald Trump, growing. He's a guy, he's already had multiple businesses before. He's technically a billionaire. The thing is the difference is that Donald Trump is the worst president in the United States of America, and trying to even get along with that is, of course, a death wish for your company that you're trying to manage. And if you were to go on the side, let's say, for Kamala Harris, like that, then basically you're asking not for a death wish. But again, a lot of people don't exactly believe that to be true, and sadly data on the internet is as scarce as people's rational discussion these days. So as there is misinformation, there is a lot of really retarded people online, so we're here for it. Third, my channel has multiple times actually involved itself with politics, fashion, trends, food, money, gaming, writing, musicality. I've involved myself with a lot of different things. That's not what Asmongold is doing though. So no, we're gonna get out of the way immediately, is that you have no right to mention politics. Wrong. You can mention politics in your content. There's the thing, is that most content creators, whenever they do mention politics, are horrible with managing people, that whenever they step into politics, content creators, like I told you, are not the most informed people in the world. So don't rely on them to keep a straight face. Look, they have this character that they put on for stream just for you. You love their content, but they don't always have that straight face for politics. Politics is a thing that's been going for centuries, longer than content has existed. There was never a field safe enough for you to handle politics and also do other content as well. It's really hard to do that on YouTube right now, because not many have the mentality to hold and uphold such severe form of content, which is called politics. YouTube also has this thing too, because right now, because of Donald Trump's fall, he's making everything like, oh, you step on his territory, either you submit to what he says or you don't, and YouTube kind of scrutinizes you for doing it. So just like Twitch is doing for VTubers, there are people who scrutinize other people for not liking Donald Trump, which is what we're here for, is to absolutely kill and murder Donald Trump's voters, and again, metaphorically. But we're here today where content creators like Decoy Voice thinks he has an opinion just because he has experience teaching people how to do YouTube, which is not exactly what I'm seeing from him, by the way. He has no idea how to use YouTube. All he does is listen to what people say, by the way, anything people say, and make content out of it. You're not that guy, dude. You're not that guy.
It's super easy to get in, but almost impossible to get out, as the music video comments are filled with how long before he has to censor everyone, pointing out how he censored Asmongold, but not Mizkif, standing with Mizkif and Emily, but not Asmin, and that Bino's dance moves are even more impressive when you realize he does them without a spine.
This is the absolute most stupidest comment I've ever seen in my entire life. Duh. Okay, Baby No Money's dance moves are even more impressive when you learn he does them without a spine. What do we all humans have in our bodies? Spines. Weird that he stands with Miskiv and Emily but draws the line at Asmongold, says Michael Shade 832 at the end with the scroll profile picture. Alright. I've seen this exact same comment on my channel when somebody criticized me and they compared me to 2 other content creators, and I said, no. You have no idea what you're talking about. I have hate comments coming from the Kai's community that are saying Shrat, but because they don't watch my content, I can tell they don't watch my content when they say something like, you don't have a hobby, find a hobby, touch grass. No. Absolutely wrong. Absolutely, I've already done that before. Since they didn't watch the content, they absolutely think that that's not what I have done at all. So, just like these people, if I could easily locate this guy's stuff, find his comments online, and exactly show you that he's one of those where he just says this and thinks he looks like he thinks he's smart, and then just leaves it there and says, I've made a point, and thinks that because he has 38 likes, but again, people that start bringing likes, he says, my point is true because people, let's say, gave me 1 million likes, and now my point is right. There's people out there that are famous for the wrong things that can immediately get a bunch of likes for what they're doing, Elon Musk for an example, and people will go, because he's so famous, he's right. So, where I could literally go find this exact same guy acting like a hypocrite online, saying that he hates billionaires that don't pay their taxes, while saying the same thing over here when Asmongold and Elon Musk and Donald Trump are the very people that are not actually going to pay their taxes and absolutely break the law if they wanted to. They could say, harass this content creator, and everybody will just follow with it. This is where I'm going at here.
With Mizkif and Emily, but not Asmin, and that Bino's dance moves long before he has to censor every.
Here's another thing that I need to point out. Find his mate how long before he has to censor everyone in his video. Don't be stupid. You think generally everybody here has something like in their background as terrible as Asmongold's. Not a single bit close. You can say they're not all perfect. You're absolutely right. They are not perfect. Am I perfect? No. Not absolutely perfect. Do they have records as terrible as Asmongold's? No, not nearly as close. Asmongold has incited as much violence and extremism as he breathes. So just so you know, before you start saying censor everyone in his video, Viva No Money, if he could, yeah, he could just censor everybody's faces just for the joke. You could absolutely censor their faces in the video if you wanted for the joke. How many people on back then had just immediately remade a song video, a music video back then, and absolutely nobody fell cared. They just let it go. This right here is like one of those comments where they immediately think, just because I said this, everything I say is right. Let's not be that person.
Honestly, I don't know much about these other scandals, but it's just a preview on how the loudest corners of the internet are now going to pressure him into taking a side on every single one of them, further dividing his remaining audience. As it's just like when Jordan Peterson told H3H3.
This is the sort, I'm going to show you this guy's face. I found one of the most stupidest people I found this really stupid guy online. His name is Decoy Voice. Just because he censored Asmongold's face in the video, this guy is on this video immediately assuming just because what he did there is going to absolutely rip apart his community. This is the same guy that makes an alt account going on onto X or Twitter and just go straight up go to their comment section on there some one of their posts and just sends harassment and then just deletes the account right after. This is the same guy where he said I can teach you how to do YouTube. This is the same guy where he said he knows how to actually play games. This is the same guy that thinks that he knows how to play business. This is the same guy who thinks that he knows how to draw art. This is the same guy who thinks that he can actually make music. This is the same guy who thinks he has an opinion. I want to show you, right? I think Build Money is getting career advice. If you can't even spell the name right, get the hell out of here. You won't have any friends if you can't have the people who think differently than you do. This is the same. This idiot. Look, I'm gonna show you. This is a robot. People like this comment. Roach King is a humble king. He won't always dunk on you, even if it's justified. 5 videos. House of Grief, Diablo. And he has playlists filled with memes, car repair, all this stuff, right? The stereotypical stuff, right? This is the same guy who's like in this lifestyle, right? This guy's a full idiot. It's a full comments filled with bots right here. You want to check these comments for yourself? Go ahead. I want you. Be my guest. Look at all these comments and figure out which one is a robot. By the way, I always saw Baby No Money as a carefree kind of dude, which is why I like this stuff, but to censor face because it doesn't align with your beliefs without saying your beliefs is some Karen shit. This guy has absolutely no history on the internet. This guy has absolutely no history on the internet. Censoring a face because it doesn't align with your beliefs is something you're free to do if it is your own music video. If it is your own music video, then they can do whatever foul they can with the video. I can draw an anime girl for sake holding the Nazi symbol. And I'd be like, that's just a joke. And nobody fucking cares. I'd see this same guy as being the same guy who looks at a rapper's music video and they put a bunch the most absurd, most terrifying things possible, and everyone goes, "This is lit." Nobody fucking cares. Right, let me just put the face of a cartoonish monster on my favorite streamer's face in a music video that's been saying really dark and unethical things. Wait, now I'm mad. Now I can't do unethical things and my streamer doing unethical things, spawning controversy after controversy. Now I can't be like them and aspire to be more like Donald Trump. So let me just go harass this person. A person with absolutely no history on the internet saying this, saying that it's a Karen move. When there's been a bunch of YouTubers that have been doing this for much more worse reasons than just censoring a face online because of a dude who said a very really dark and messed up things on the internet on stream and justifying it with their chat as well. So let's not be that person. Just don't post a video if you don't want Roachman in it. Incorrect. Mary Poppins is a song under Baby No Money's label and his name. He has the absolute right to post it or not post it. You are not his manager. You are not Baby No Money. Get off the internet and get a job. If somebody said don't absolutely post a video because somebody's not believing the same thing you're doing, that's got to be one of the most hypocritical things I've ever heard in my entire life. They have absolutely no responsibility for posting and not posting a song. If he doesn't want to post a song, he doesn't want to post a song. If he wants to post a song, he can post that song. What is this? Now you're policing his music. Don't be that person. Censoring his face makes it 100 times worse. That's an absolute joke coming from a person with absolutely no history. Trying to capitalize on the drama though, I suppose. You're absolute hypocrite for even mentioning that. This is the thing that dumps their entire argument down. Trying to capitalize on the drama though, I suppose, is something really stupid. Let me rephrase this for you. This is the same person who's defending Asmongold who capitalizes on drama. He makes money off of drama. He asks for drama. He makes drama. Asmongold does the exact thing that this idiot is trying to accuse Baby No Money, a musician and music artist, for doing. Profiting off of drama. Asmongold profits off of drama. He's a drama streamer. Right-wing political extremist. And you're accusing a musician for capitalizing on drama. Right. So we're in 2025. We're now accusing people who have absolutely nothing to do with drama for making money off of drama, while supporting a guy that absolutely makes money off of drama. So
Possible to maintain standards, and once you make a mistake, they will devour you with glee. Which is exactly what happened, and it's not like the left has since become more reasonable or more understanding, as Bino could have been hanging.
we say that for Asmongold. When you're saying, okay, you're immediately, this guy right here, Decoy voice, immediately brings the left. Alright. Let's be a logical person here. The independent party right now is doing their best to boost the Democrats back up and start becoming better people. Those Democrats have lost their shine since Joe Biden, dropped out of the race. They absolutely did. They absolutely lost morale. Did they lose morality? No. Bernie Sanders came over to rescue and said, well, let's start a movement. The fight against oligarchy. And here we are. To the point when you start bringing in, just because we're on this side, let's go disqualify the other side. If you think logically as a person, you're not gonna go, let me support this one side just because the other side is not on my side. Let me disagree with everything they say. It's the same people who said vaccines didn't exist and that vaccines were like made from Satan or something. This is the same guy that basically would have said that in 2020 because some ridiculous scientist online tried to discredit Dr. Fauci's work because he thought that vaccines were made from Satan. So before we start throwing in this, the left, the right, I'm on neither side until one side starts to gutten up and toughen up and straighten up their background again, because right now we're in need for people, leaders, real leaders, to put us back on the pedestal and get us back in a stable economy, but that's not exactly what's happening. And again, Decoy voice the same dude who absolutely agrees with everything Donald Trump says, just like Asmongold is absolutely agreeing with Donald Trump says. So let's not be that person.
Hanging out with Hassan, then seen dancing around with Asmongold. The same way that Joe Rogan could platform Bernie Sanders or equally stupid Andrew Yang and then be seen speaking with Donald Trump. Of course, Rogan's gonna get waves of hate, but the average person isn't paying enough attention to politics to even care. So by placating the fringe groups that would melt down over seeing Asmongold in a music video, the focus now isn't about the music, but protecting the fragile emotions of your leftover listeners. Like,
okay, first off, let's start with the protecting your sensitive listeners, or whatever is left quote-unquote listeners. First off, when you start making music, since Decoy voice absolutely has no experience making music himself, and has absolutely no experience in the political field, as he just takes everything Asmongold says without any legal advice or legal information. Let's just take it straight to heart, because he just straight up put Joe Rogan on there as an example of a guy who talks to both sides. Joe Rogan has absolutely recently stopped actually letting anybody go on to the podcast because he started believing in what they were saying. And Joe Rogan used to be a freeloader of like saying, I allow anybody to go into the podcast. Absolutely genius idea. Giving them like a room to talk about themselves, even the most extreme people on there. Now Joe Rogan has suddenly went down recently, and if you want information on that, I can show you a video on why this guy started to not like Joe Rogan anymore. And it's not because Joe Rogan looks ugly or anything. No, it's because factually Joe Rogan, what he's doing now is slowly distance himself away from specific audiences. He used to be a curious man, but he no longer isn't. Now, when you say that his fans or protect yourself or talking about the music, it is about the music. This video, you're supposed to also approach the music. The music was actually incredibly good. Even me, in my standards, I rated it around 3. And round 3 is like 7 to 8 out of 10. For most music, it'd be like a D if it was 6 out of 10. But you're the person who throws around the word just because Asmongold said so. I believe everything he says. So that's where we're here right now. We're here on that. Since you have absolutely no music experience and you're only focusing on Asmongold, you're glazing the fill out of a political right extremist, violent talker, and conspiracy theorist right now who streams himself, allowing people to think these crazy things and then inspiring them to continue that, which you're doing right now, defending a guy who absolutely inspires people to do really terrible things. Let's not do that. Also, you have no right to talk about his music in that way. You're absolutely trying to police the music he's making, that Baby No Money produced either himself or with a team. They have the absolute right to not release, remix, or remake, or lengthen a song if they want. You're not them.
like how Hassan's fans heckle him over drinking Coca-Cola.
You need to stop drinking Coke Zero on stream.
Why?
It's boycott.
Wait, is it?
You're preaching pro-Palestine and you're drinking all this boycott stuff. Please, Hassan.
How long until Beano's fans demand he can't perform at festivals that have ever been sponsored by Coca-Cola? Or does his activism simply end at blurring out somebody's face that doesn't
Here's another stupid point. Here's another stupid point. First off, number one, we're gonna get this out of the way. Sponsors. They could be any sort of thing. They could be Coca-Cola, toys, a toy line, a wash line, juices. It could be gamer subs. It could be Twitch. It could be Pepsi. When you take sponsors, don't be really stupid. Asmongold does take from sponsors too. He's also started his own events where sponsors sponsor the event. Don't be hypocritical. Number two, why are we going over to sponsors to activism? Why are we talking about activism when the entire song is based on a really nice beat that anybody can dance to? Number three, he absolutely has anything to do, again, I'm gonna repeat, whatever he wants to do with the music video. Where are we getting this activism thing from? From proceeding to show a clip of Hassan getting approached by some really strange person saying stuff about boycotting, to sponsors, and now over here to activism. Where the hell did you get this from? This makes absolutely no sense with what the video started with right here.
Pay him to be on stage. As now look at Bino's post on Twitter stating, spreading love and positivity, with the replies all going after him over his inconsistency.
I want to first get out of the way on this idiot right here. Spread love and positivity, so I assume you'll be denouncing Hassan for his endorsement of this. Yes. This is the same person who literally takes anything said by Hassan and Asmongold and says, yeah, I totally agree with everything they say. Hassan supports terrorist groups. He literally supports terrorist groups. And I'm going to say that word. And I'm going to say that word freely on YouTube. I got the balls to say that. Hassan absolutely supports really terrifying and very violent groups online that absolutely do harm to women and children and men equally. They absolutely cause genocide. The same person right at zero is this exact same buffoon with the American flag on the next to his name with the guitar. This guy right here, by the way, very familiar. Same guy that supports Asmongold's extreme political right-wing opinions and conspiracy theories. Absolutely, by the way, that he actually do bring up. Just in case anyone wants to know, Leaflet here, this feature right here, by the way, has just changed their content to, it went into the Donald Trump direction. If you don't think that that's true, go search up Leaflet, this VTuber here. You must know her by now. She's done reactions before previously. She was a pretty fun character for a while, but when she started revealing her true colors on her YouTube channel, she began to be a huge Donald Trump supporter on that channel, along with Smugglana. Not exactly showing her red colors, but she did start showing that she had a distaste for Democrats just because of this one commentary YouTuber that talked about feminism and masculinity constantly. So just take that on my word that if you think I'm still insane, I don't know what else to say. I could show you, but these two are now hypocrites considered. So this person barely says anything to do with who they're talking about, but they endorse equally as insane people who randomly rant on stream and talk about things and just basically whatever they see on the internet is what's fact, which Smugglana and Leaflet does currently, as is Raid the Zero the VTuber. Whenever he's on stream, Asmongold does bring up a lot of those online, by the way. Whenever he reacts, and by the way, Asmongold's only content now is reaction videos. So, spreading love and positivity, the first thing to do is right now is admit that not everybody are good people. They might be some very nice person in person, but they could be that same person who's allowing people to continue their violence in different countries. And that's what Hassan is doing. So Hassan could be chill and say, oh, anime is this and that, which happened on Trash Taste, by the way. They allowed Hassan on Trash Taste. But it's the same guy like Al Qaeda when he terrorized the buildings, the Twin Towers in 2001, by the way. Just so you know, the same guy. There was a video online where he danced to Lady Gaga's poker face, right? But when you actually look at his history, he's the same guy that terrorized the Twin Towers and escaped and caused mass genocide. So let's not do those comparisons and absolutely let people to be forgiven for these such things. So right now, yes, we are denouncing Hassan. I absolutely want to denounce Hassan. I absolutely want to stop Asmongold. I'm gonna say that on my channel. And this is my channel. If you want to go say and send me death threats in the comments, be my guest. Absolutely send those. The more the better. The more the merrier, right? This is a place for freedom of speech. That's why I'm not telling them to stop doing what they're doing. I'm only telling them to reevaluate what they're saying.
Saying I like their music, but the more you talk, the less I want to listen. Spreading love.
That was just a hate comment. Spread love and positivity, he says, while defending the guys on Twitch supporting this, then that of that, and blaming that of their problems. Jonathan Willow, let's not be that person. You're the same person who will go around saying that just because Taylor Swift said something about this guy, but she absolutely allows Kanye West to be on her podcast. Look, she could literally start a podcast right now with Kanye West, and it could be talking about how they're the most famous people in the world right now. They could do that, and you're the same person who go, wow, Kanye West and Taylor Swift in the same podcast? I love this podcast. Let's spread love and positivity, while ignoring Kanye West's history with himself online doing a lot of violence. He has definitely done crimes before. He's absolutely broken TUS multiple times before on different websites. So, and Taylor Swift's also that same lady who says in the lyrics that she suffered when, if you looked into her actual history, Taylor Swift actually lived in a very wealthy family. Before you start saying that, Shret, do your research. Alright, now we can get on to the video.
While defending the guys on Twitch that support very evil things, while the only place in favor of him was predictably Reddit, as they claim he's a good role model for other men.
So he
with what looks like fanfiction about him, but also how he's not a great musician, but a good guy, or even saying that his songs suck, but he says the right things, and then start asking him to stop working with other people that they don't like, as his other music video from a year ago featured Moist Critical. And with the emergence of streamers becoming celebrities, it's actually a smart move to use them in music videos to help generate interest in your songs, but then censoring.
Absolutely everything this guy says is stupid in this video. Why am I watching this video? The Projectian, why does it matter to you? Why? Why should it matter? Because if his voice can say whatever, look, this guy can lie the entire time. He could just lie throughout the entire video, and people are gonna go, you're so genius. They're all literally gonna listen to whatever he says and say and just absolutely believe everything he says. By the way, these guys supporting a guy, by the way, his channel, by the way, supports Donald Trump. The same guy who says billionaires should pay their taxes is the same guy who supports Donald Trump, with absolutely avoids and absolutely bankrupts multiple businesses and doesn't pay taxes at the same time. So this guy is absolutely hypocritical for absolutely supporting such a thing, while also just not supporting a thing. And you're saying he needs streamers and content creators to be in his music videos to get retention. In my music, whenever I make it, I don't ask for content creators, streamers, artists, or musicians to make my songs more famous. If you looked in the history of music, famous people that got featured on music from other famous people's channels or music or their discography in the 90s or the 2010s, they didn't need features to get their songs to absolutely blast. I've done this multiple times. I've done this over and over. If I'm around over 200 songs in, this guy's the same guy who says, okay, I have Lady Gaga could collaborate with Kanye West anytime and the song goes fine.
Them out at the slightest amount of controversy makes it feel less like a friendship and more like a sponsored brand deal, which is sad to think of all your friendships as transactional. I can only be
BB No Money seeing his friends as transactional. How many times have I heard that from a guy who couldn't cope with the idea that that right now he's following all of these haters' comments and taking as information. Like I said before, he just said his friends were transactional for retention rate. Alright. You have no clue at all what's happening in the background. Number 2, Decoy voice. You absolutely have no clue how music works. That's called a feature. When you can, those features are not always obligated to pay to. You don't have the obligation to pay your features. The features want a cut from your song. You could, yeah, they have the permission to ask for rights. They can ask a cut from the song if they absolutely, send a paper or something and did a discussion with the artist who's promoting and pushing the song and publishing it onto different music platforms, which whereas Asmongold is right now, is not exactly pushing for a cut in, let's say, his music. Like, say, okay, so he's in the video, where's his cut? Was Asmongold paid for acting in the music video, or is he not being paid? If he didn't ask for it, then he's not gonna get paid. If he asked for the cut, well, since the video was made, let's say 2023, which people are telling me, did he already ask for the cut? Say, because he acted in the video. You first need to ask those questions. Third, you're saying, you immediately assume transactional. You're the same guy, by the way, who when they get a feature, you absolutely want the money you get from the fame because a content creator went onto your channel, Decoy voice. You're the same guy who, when somebody famous goes on, you want the money and you want the attention. So let's not try to pull out the transactional thing going on, because that's just how music works. And no, we're not always asking for money. You always have the permission to retract yourself from a project. And by the way, even the money, again, the point is that he still, published the song online. It's still public. It's now public. It's right there. It's been out for a while. Why would he not post it? Why would he not? And if Asmongold said, "Don't put me on there," then they would censor his face, and they would say, "Alright, but we're still putting out the video." But if Baby No Money was such a scum, by the way, if Baby No Money is not a scum, he's just a guy who, absolutely, remember, doesn't have a lot of record, good records saying that he's that type of person to do his research. He only just recently started to look into the people that he's friends with and started realizing that not all of them are great people. It's that, again, you gotta realize that when you're a content creator, not everybody that you're working with are like your best friends. They might not be your best friends. They might be there because they want you there for content. Deco Voice is that type of guy where he's like, you can only invite him unless he's paid for it. So he is that guy who's only there, who's like, yeah, oh, you invited me on the podcast? Just pay me $500 for each visit. Or pay me $295 for each hour on that podcast. So, again, he's like that guy who does that, while also saying that Baby No Money only wants money from his friends. When Moist Critical, by the way, is the guy, the only one right there that can exactly point out how this works and say, well, Baby No Money invited me on, and I said, yeah, sure. So he said, yeah, I invited you on it. And Most Critical could have just said, no, I don't want to. But Most Critical said yes. He said he wanted to be on there. So what about, where in the part do we go when we go say, okay, so these are their transactional friends. Why are they saying yes? Why are they saying yes to the collaborations? They could just say no. Why didn't they say no? And Asmongold in 2023 would have just said, yeah, go invite me to the music video recording. But then you know where Asmongold went. So Baby No Money went like, okay, maybe that guy is not so good. By the way, Asmongold being the largest political right-wing extremist commentator conspiracy theorist on the internet right now.
Be your friend as long as it doesn't damage my income. So even if they believe the same things about war with Russia, the same things about masking in public, or BLM protests, and even as far back as Coney 2012, if we don't continue to completely mirror each other's feelings about the newest thing, I'm gonna paste a dinosaur over your face.
That is your best one-liner in this video. I get more disappointed by each new content creator who makes commentary videos like this, because they absolutely have no idea what they're talking about. I think the standards for commentator content has went low recently. It goes as low as this. This is an example of like, you can now platform anybody online, give them a page and give him fame, and they will do whatever. It can even be a criminal for all sake, and now they can freely commentate. There is something to do with free speech here that isn't wrong to do, but these are people that do incite violence and incite toxic communities to stay alive. And he just completely threw nothing burgers and immediately assumed everything about Baby No Money in that one singular sentence. The same guy who used AI to promote content with an AI generated duck in front of the American flag and a duck in front of snow, also AI generated for a Christmas event, by the way. Also, the fact he used AI generation for an artwork for a Simpson Wave content promotion, by the way. He uses a lot of AI. So yeah, basically this is what we're working with. This is the guy that is qualified to make these sort of takes on the internet, right? This is the guy who's qualified. This is the guy that's qualified. As you go, well, you're equally as weird. If you're Asmongold, Tectone, and this guy, and you're about to react to this video, and you're gonna go, oh, what does this guy think he is? I want you to go, don't forget that if you did research, you would know that I'm not exactly a one talented person. I have multiple talents, by the way. If you did your research, you would know I have significant amounts of achievements. And it's not all about the views in the end. It's about how much skill and how much knowledge you have. If you're not in for the game, then you shouldn't be talking like you know everything. This guy clearly wants to pass it off that he knows everything. So we're not here for that. Anyways, that's just what I want to leave before the video ends. I just wanted to show you. Assume everything right there in one line. I can do the same thing for Decoy voice right now too.
Why doom scroll on social media all day when you have my concise, light-hearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, so subscribe to Decoy Voice.
Don't subscribe to Decoy voice, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you enjoyed videos like these. Please comment down below, leave a like for my video anywhere else. Trying to reach that 2K to 5K subscription goal. If you enjoyed this reaction, I hope helped you informatively about how things are actually going, what's really going on. If nobody does that, then this world's completely hopeless. This guy is an example of hopelessness. So I mean, I think he's one of those where generally I don't think he's gonna last long on YouTube. I think he's one of those where he would go on for like, say, maybe 5 years and then be forgotten. He's like those people. It's not timeless. Like, he would probably make the hugest numbers, would absolutely drop down and be irrelevant immediately once he no longer is relevant to this conversation. And since everything he says in the video is absolutely not relevant and absolutely uninformed and really misinforming, yeah, this guy's not gonna last long on YouTube.